Good evening, everyone. This video is mostly just thinking out loud over the concepts lately I've been thinking about, and mostly was thinking today about how something Jesus said about the devil, how he said the devil came to kill, steal, and destroy. And if you notice those three things, we've considered this before, but killing, stealing, destroying, those are three things that are exactly the opposite of God. Well, anyway, that thought could be unpacked in another way, but they do go against what God is at work doing, though, of course. Jesus said, for example, I came that they might have life, and that they might have life more abundantly. And when we consider the first and initial command of God to man was be fruitful and multiply. Those are creative things. And when God created the heavens and the earth, in the 6 days of creation, every time he did something, he created something, he said it was good. So creation is about life. It's about growth and development. It's building things. That takes time. It's difficult. It's not easy. There's no quick fix to build and grow something. We often try to look for the easy way out, though. We try to short circuit things. We want fast money, so to speak. And a lot of the things of our life, we can kind of look through that lens of, is this about creation? Is this about life? Does this give life or nurture life? Or does it kill and destroy? So let's talk about stealing for a moment. Two of the concepts I've been thinking about in particular lately are consent and coercion. And those kind of sound similar. Coercion, I just mean by that, all I mean is forcing somebody against their consent to do something, trying to browbeat them into doing something they don't want to, being passive aggressive maybe even, or manipulation tactics, really. And a lot of the political arena is built on coercion, unfortunately. It's very disturbing. It seems like the most noble people, if we go back to Plato's Republic, only the most noble are the ones who are to rule. That's the way they used to think. But today, it's very despicable, the political scene. And the most vilest people are exalted. And the Bible actually says something about that. It says the wicked will walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. That's in Psalms. And what's that mean? That's basically what we see today on television. The most reputable persons, the most despicable people are the fame-worthy individuals. They're the rich people. They're the promoted people. Look at the rap music industry or rock music industry. These areas are like cesspools. Everybody knows that the music industry is crooked and deceitful, disturbing. And the film industry, look at recent years and the trials and the pedophilia and stuff. And that's the actual stuff that we know is true. There's all kinds of rumors that circulate that we don't know about. It's very disturbing. Those things don't give life. That's about a quick buck and taking advantage of people. That's about stealing. So it goes back to what I was talking about. Stealing, coercion, and not consenting to things. We'll get to the consent possibly, but maybe not. But consent really is about freedom. If people have the freedom to consent to what they want to, or don't force their will on other people. That is a good society, a noble and just society. They don't have a need to coerce their neighbors into things because their neighbors are going to respect them unless they're really bad neighbors. I was thinking just recently, I wonder what the countries in the world are the least likely to restrain their citizens from fleeing the country. Because that's really the judge of a country in a lot of ways, is do they pretend, well, do they keep their people from leaving? Because a dictatorship, they'll have to, or everybody's going to want to leave, right? But a good country doesn't have to keep people from leaving because nobody wants to. In fact, they have to keep people from coming in some ways. They can be at least very selective in their process of allowing people, because a lot of people are going to want to be there if it's a good place, right? But anyway, so coercion, very destructive means to an end, very life-taking and draining. Let's see, killing, stealing, destroy. So stealing, that's taking anything that's not yours and not providing some sort of restitution of equal value or better. In the Old Testament, if somebody stole something, they had to repay it a couple of times over. It might be 4 times if it was like a sheep or something. If it was something bigger, I don't remember what the rules on that was. It's hard to remember all that, of course. But the point is, people had to repay their thefts, so it made people less likely to want to steal, because if you get caught, you're going to be 4 times worse off than if you had not stolen something. You see what I'm saying? So that makes a lot of sense. That stealing, I was thinking about the concept earlier because somebody on Quora was asking a question about scams, and I was thinking hard about how to answer that question. I never did answer it because I didn't feel like I could give a good enough answer, but stealing is essentially any type of, well, scamming is essentially any type of theft of someone's means of production or whatever. I don't know. I'm not trying to talk like a libertarian or something. I'm just trying to conceptualize something that makes sense of it all. Stealing can come in the form, well, here's one that we don't often think about. Have you ever taken life from your parent by the way you're living? That's the way to think about things. If you really run your parents to the ringer and you put gray hair in their head and you're wearing down their health, and you might say, well, that's not my fault, that's their fault because they didn't have to worry. Yeah, but you know how it is. You're responsible to a certain extent for the way you treat your parents. There's all kinds of ways of stealing things. You can steal somebody's peace of mind. We're not talking about the material things yet, but if you put it in somebody's head that they are a victim and they live the rest of their life thinking that they're a victim and they can't achieve anything, you've done a great disservice to that person. You stunted their growth. And of course, at the end of the day, we're all adults. Eventually, we have to make our own conscious decisions, and ultimately it's your responsibility as an individual. But the same is true what Jesus said. He said that if you offend any one of these, talking about little children, he said it'd be better for you in the day of judgment that a millstone were thrown about your neck and you cast into the sea. That would be a better fate for you than what's going to happen to you when God gets to you. So, you know, how children are treated, how people are manipulated into things, it's very treacherous and destructive. Okay, so stealing, talked about that, killing. destruction, once we talked about destruction and how easy it is to destroy, but how hard it is to build. You ever notice that? It's like the negative things get a bonus in this world, but the positive things are handicapped time and time again. So let me give you an example. It's very easy to get fat and out of shape and in bad health. That's extremely easy if a person wants to. All you have to do is nothing and eat, or you drink yourself into oblivion, or take a lot of drugs or whatever. That's very easy to destroy your health. But to maintain good health, to stay healthy and a good life physically is difficult to maintain to a lot of extent, because it's a negative thing to eat sugar and get in a bad health. That's negative. That's why it's easy. That's disturbing, isn't it? Okay, another one I'll give you an example is tearing down a sandcastle is easy. Think of all of the elaborate detail you could go into building a sandcastle, how difficult and time consuming it could be if you really were trying, because you're trying not to destroy what you're working so hard on. But it's very easy to destroy a sandcastle with just a mistake even. That's a lot of life there. A simple mistake can cause a person a lot of pain. It's kind of like climbing a mountain or something. Getting to the top is synonymous with good. Falling down the mountain is synonymous with bad. So wealth can be ruined very quickly, as you've seen and heard in your lifetime, I'm sure. Getting into debt is very easy. That's negative. See how things are? Getting a STD is very easy. Getting somebody pregnant when y'all are both not ready to have a child, very easy. All kinds of things like that are generally destructive. It's easy to ring the bell and quit in military or whatever it is you're in. It's easy to throw in the towel and quit, just hang it up and go home. You see, that's negative. Anyway, so that's a lot to think about, but just remember that God's about creation. He's about giving people life, inspiring people to believe, to have faith and grow, to do great things. Jesus said, I'm the vine, my Father is the husbandman, and he prunes the vines and the branches to produce great fruit. We experience adversity in this life, but Job said, I'll come forth as gold. We're being refined in this world. So just want to encourage you with that. Life is full of trouble. Man's days are short. We got to make the most of what we can and do the best with what we have. That's all that's required of us. Just lay it down at Jesus' feet and ask for his direction. So this is as helpful for me as it was for you, I believe. Just an encouraging, inspiring, thoughtful, I don't know, it helped me to think about things. At least hopefully it was helpful to anybody else. God bless and hope you have a good night.